thinking Godzilla, but I got it right. Is it still doing good at the box office?
No, but it just came to Netflix last weekend, and if you haven't watched it, you got to watch it.
Okay. So which one? That's right. You told me that. Which one is it?
Godzilla -1.
-1. So it was worth all the hype that it got?
I watched it 3 times.
Okay.
Ooh.
That is a raving review.
Yeah, that says a lot.
That does say a lot, because Tanya was like, wait, no, I don't think it's still out. So it's not still out, but it did well.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of was maybe Furioso.
No, but okay. Well, that's a nod to that. So if you're staying in this weekend, Ryan has already given you your recommendation, but Tanya, you got 2 weeks to catch up on. So if we want to get to the movies, what we got there?
Yeah, there's so much. Well, this weekend we've got 2 big new releases. The first one is Bad Boys Ride or Die.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like that franchise, this one's more of the same. It's the 4th in the series. The last time we saw Will Smith and Martin Lawrence playing their cop characters was 2020. And it just seems like that was so long ago, and it was released in January, so everybody went to the theater to see it with no clue what was coming. And it wound up being like the number 4 movie of that year and like the 3rd biggest January release in history. So it was a big movie. Mm-hmm. And the intention was to do this sequel that's out this weekend. But it got halted by several things: the pandemic, the slap.
I was wondering how she was going to say that.
And then the writer's strike. But here we are. It's back. And so we see Will Smith and Martin Lawrence paired up again. And this time they are being framed as being the bad guys. And so they've got to figure out who the real bad guys are and clear their names all in the same process. But yeah, this is definitely one. If you like the first 3, you're going to like this one. It's just more of the same. So, and it is rated R.
Do you think it will project? I think I read or saw something where they're hoping for $75 million for open weekend.
Yeah, and I think it's going to happen because they had, they started some viewings yesterday, and the sales are very strong. So I feel like,
I think people are wanting just a funny, I think they'll go for the comic relief.
Yeah, and and that's exactly what these are. And it's hard to believe, but back when this movie franchise first started, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence were just big TV stars. Mm-hmm. They weren't really established movie stars like they are today. So it's just weird to know, how far back it goes, over 20 years. Anyway, and I'm just really curious to see. I feel like in general, the public has forgiven Will Smith.
I think they all just want to move on.
Yeah, I think, he's apologized. He got his punishment. And so here we are. But he's done the circuit. They've done pretty much every interview I've seen, they were together. And so I don't know if that's on purpose. Of course, it's a buddy movie, so it makes sense for them to promote it together. But I also wonder if that's to protect him
from getting asked.
Yeah.
Questions you don't want to get asked.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're not into that, what else is this weekend?
Well, there's a new... Speaking of Netflix, you can watch the Godzilla movie, but also Hitman is out. Right. This is one that it stars Glenn Powell,
who's having a heck of a year.
I was about to say, okay, so it's like I really had never heard of him until I saw Maverick. And since, that's been almost 2 years ago, or right at 2 years ago. And right after that, he had Devotion, which was a huge movie for all of the war people that love those kind of movies. And then now you've got Hitman. Anyone But You was a big surprise hit. And then he had the documentary, The Blue Angels, and it's out. It was released in theaters for Memorial Day, but it's on Amazon Prime now, so that's something else you could check out. And then a little bit later this year, he's got Twisters coming out, which is sort of a sequel to the first Twister. So he's having a heck of a year.
Mm-hmm. And he's so cute.
And he's such a good actor. He's so versatile. But this movie, I saw it earlier today. It came out today. And I don't think it's as good as Anyone But You, but it's got a very interesting premise with some twists and turns. But he's a college professor who moonlights with the New Orleans Police Department, doing things like behind the scenes, like sitting in trucks, getting recordings, that kind of thing, undercover work. And this guy messes up on the force, and they need a quick pretend hitman, and he gets called up to do that. And surprisingly, he's very, very good at it. And so he does that. And in the process, one of the people that he's trying to catch setting up a hit, he falls in love with. Of course. So it's, just all the twists and turns that come with something like that. But the funny thing is he's got kind of a nerd lifestyle and no excitement. And you see a scene with him and his ex-wife, and that's why they broke up, because he has no passion for anything. But he finds his passion in this hitman job, and he takes it so far as to wear disguises and all that. It's cute.
Someone reminded us Glenn Powell was also in Hidden Figures, Mailman Clayton.
Oh, yes, he sure was. Yeah, so he had a lot of small roles before everybody knew his name after Maverick. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, he was like in a couple of TV series, too. But, yeah, so if you're on the Glenn Powell train, mm-hmm. that's a good one to check out this weekend. And then there's another one, and I forgot my paper, but it's I think it's called The Watchers or Watchers with M. Night Shyamalan, who we know as the master of The Surprise. His daughter is now gotten involved, and she's about 24, 25. And she has written and directed this movie. He's a producer, but it's Dakota Fanning, who is a great actress. And she gets stranded in the middle of the woods in Ireland and comes upon, finds shelter with 3 other people who are being watched by some...
I'm never going back in nature.
I know, but why do all these movies have to be in the middle of the woods?
That's what I was thinking. Stop ruining nature for me.
I would like to
Not that I would go in the middle of the night anyway.
I don't want it to happen, but wouldn't it be interesting if just once these movies were set like in an office environment or at a radio station?
I might not come to work either.
So anyway, also on the subject of the Blue Angels being on Prime, another great documentary. I mentioned it briefly 2 weeks ago, but I finally got to watch it. The Jim Henson, The Idea Man, directed by Ron Howard, is out on Apple Plus, and it is so good. It didn't really focus a whole lot on him being from Mississippi. It mentioned that, and that's pretty much it. And just maybe a little bit about his upbringing in Mississippi cultivated his creativity. And but it was really, really a cool story. And I did not realize how young he was when he died. Because he died
How old was he?
He was 53.
Oh, wow.
And I want to say he died in 1990. And I was a lot younger back then, and I remember when he died thinking, oh, yeah, he's so old, but he wasn't.
No, he wasn't.
And, so it's so sad. And then Garfield movie actually edged out Furioso for the #1 spot last week. So you still have that one, or those 2 movies. If and Furiosa almost tied, but If was number 3. And then you've still got Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. The Fall Guy is still out there. So still a lot of good things to go see. But the big movie that we'll be talking about next week coming out is Inside Out 2.
Where have I been? I hadn't seen Inside Out, which my daughter, Neely, was like, what? I guess I watch it a lot, like daycare school, because it's real cute or whatever. And I have other friends who were like, it's a great movie. I was like, where was that? How did I miss that?
That happens. Sometimes you just miss something for some reason. And
I wonder if they will play it, like stream it Netflix or something like that, leading up
bet
to.
they will. I'm pretty sure it's probably on Disney Plus, because they tend to carry anything Disney Pixar.
Oh, that's true. I
Yeah,
didn't think about that.
so I
I'll
would
have to
check
catch up.
there, and I'm going to watch it again too. I've actually seen it multiple times just because it was one of my favorites. And the first one is about emotions, and this one is more of the same, but they're going to add some new emotions to the mix.
Anger and anxiety.
Yeah,
which is probably why
anxiety.
my daughter was like, we should go watch that one. All righty. Thank you, Tanya. You guys stick with this. We got an update from Miss Mississippi coming up.